Welcome back. Unfortunately, death is a fact of life. Adults deal with death one way, kids another, and sometimes they need help. Dorothy Mockensturm joins us from Good Grief with that help and how the organization could use your help. Good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Well, first of all, tell us a little bit about Good Grief and who you help and how you do it.
Sure. So we support children and teens and families who've experienced a death. We do that in a couple of different ways. We do that in our program space here on Reynolds Road, and also in some schools. And we'll be expanding our in-school support groups this coming school year. So it's a chance for kids to be with other kids who have experienced something similar, and the feelings of grief can often result in feeling isolated and different than. And while they're here, everybody that's here is here because somebody important to them has died. So they all get it.
You know, and I think that kids really handle grief and death in a different way than adults. You know, adults, you'll know, they're sad. You know, you could see that. But with kids, I think sometimes, you know, one day they might be okay, and then the next day maybe not as much. And so we think that everything is okay, but maybe it's not.
That's very true. It can be very confusing to the adults around them. You're exactly right, Amanda. They pop in and out of their grief. Like kids generally do not maintain a high level of emotion. So it 1 minute they're playing and laughing, and then the next minute they're clearly sort of drenched in their grief. And as I said, that can be confusing and misleading to the adults that are around those kids.
And that's where you all are there to help everybody navigate their grief. And I think the last couple of years, a lot of kids are probably experiencing unexpected deaths, you know, with COVID, whether that's a family member or a friend or a loved one, and they're really trying to work through that in numbers that maybe we didn't expect.
Absolutely, and sort of regardless of the cause of death, but that happening to a child can be devastating. It kind of, undermines their feelings of safety and security, and that the world works in a way that makes sense. And so how we answer that is important and can have long-lasting implications for the rest of those kids' lives. And you mentioned about the last couple of years. We know nationally that 175,000 children experienced the death of one or both parents because of COVID. Mm-hmm. More closer to home, we know that in Lucas and Wood counties about 1,700 people died. And researchers use a multiplier of 9. For every person that has died, there are 9 people left to grieve that death. So looking at those numbers, that means just in Lucas and Wood County, there's nearly 16,000 newly bereaved people. And that's the death of somebody's parent or sibling or aunt, uncle, grandma, somebody important to them. So it's a prevalent situation that may not feel like it's going to impact society, but it absolutely will, because unaddressed grief leaves those kids at a much higher risk of some things that will need to be answered in their lives.
Yeah, and you all are there to help guide them through that and what they're going through. You can't do it without support from the community, and there's an opportunity coming up where we can help give back. You have a fundraiser coming up.
We do. We're excited about this. It's a new event for us. It's called Raising Hope, and it's June 2nd, 6 to 9 at the Pinnacle. It will have our silent auction. We have about 45 silent auction items, and that will appeal to everybody's sort of taste and budget. And some really exciting live auction items, a couple of vacation packages, dinner in your home by Cynthia's Catering, just some really exciting unique things. So it'll be a fun way to support the important work that Good Grief does within our community.
So we'd like folks to go ahead and RSVP for that fundraiser. How can they do that?
Yes, so go on our website, which is goodgriefnwo.org, to our events page. You can also see the live auction items that are being offered and get your tickets there. It's $35 per person. And if you want to bring your friends, and I hope that you do, a table of 10 is $300.
There you go. Make plans to be there again. That is on June 2nd. Dorothy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate
you bet.
it.